In this video, I'm going to show you my two favorite methods to making talking basses in Serum 2. Now these sounds are from my latest sample pack, Future Jump Up D&B. There's 170 Serum 2 presets, over 450 samples, and 4 project templates to get your hands on in FL Studio and Ableton. There's a link down below to grab that right now. So first, let's start with method 1, and I like to call this the Downsample Distortion Effects method. So we start with an initialized patch, and we actually don't need to pick basic shapes anymore. We can literally just come to the wavetable position and change this, and we can find the shape that we want. And we want to use this shape, this big square shape. And we want to put this down 2 octaves. And we get this fat sound. And then there's 2 ways we're going to make this sound. So the first is we're going to use a filter. So we can turn the filter on here, and then it's all connected, you can see. And then we can adjust this. So we can turn this cutoff right down, and we can put this LFO on it, and we'll just drag the LFO shape like this for now, and it's on retrigger mode, so it'll keep triggering, creating this little wobble. And now let's just adjust this to 54%. And now let's turn this res up. So this is the first thing that's going to shape the sound. Put this on 41, and then drag this on it, and put this on 33%. And if I turn the drive up, there's now a nice little dent in the frequency. So now if we come to the effects tab and we have a look at this effects that I was on about, so we open up a distortion and we come here and we pick downsample, we start to get this really cool sound. And if we just make it more apparent by turning the drive up to 54%, you can hear we're starting to get this talking sound, but it sounds a bit weird at the moment, and there's some weird high range coming through as well. So let's add a few more effects to bring the sound out more. So let's start with a compressor, and let's make it multi-band. Let's turn the gain up a bit, make it louder. And we'll turn the highs up and the lows up, and this to 7.5, 0.75-ish. Now we can add a filter, try and get rid of some of that high range. And we'll put it on MGLO 12, turn the filter all the way to the left, and we'll drag the same LFO onto it, and we'll drag it to 92%. There we go. So that's got rid of that high ringing noise. And now let's add some hyperdimension, make the sound a bit more wide. So we'll turn the mix up a little bit, turn the size down, turn the mix here down a little bit, and then let's play it. So you can adjust this to taste as well. There's a little bit of an effects there. And now we've got the base of the sound. Now let's whack it on a channel and add some effects. So we'll whack it on channel 21. And now this has got a decimort on it on action movie setting. And we're just boosting the sound with a Pro L, make it louder. And now if we play it, brings that sound even more out. So you can play around with different rates. So we can turn this trip on or this dot on, play around with different levels. And you can play around with the shape as well, so you can make it more aggressive. And you can really use this in any genre, not just drum and bass, but that is the bulk of the sound. And then you can also play around with other LFOs and try and like add some like pitch changes. So if we go LFO 2 and go to global and main tuning, and then if we just click on here, turn this right down, and you can do interesting stuff with that. I don't know why you'd use it, but it sounds pretty cool. If you were to do that, you probably want to do it a lot less, so maybe like 2%. Yeah, that sounds a bit better. And then why not just experiment, see what else you can come up with, and let me know in the comments how you get on. If you're enjoying this video so far and you like the way I'm teaching, then my Music Production Academy is now available to join. There's over 14 hours of course material to get your hands on, which is constantly being updated as new stuff comes out. There's one-to-one feedback on your music, as well as much more. If that's something that interests you, there's a link down below for more information. I hope to see you inside. Now for the second method, we're going to be focusing on the filter and looking at the presets we can use in the filter, particularly the Formant presets. So again, for this one, let's start with an initialized patch and we'll drag this down to -2. And now let's see if we can get the shape on here. Ah, no. So there isn't the shape on this one. So we will have to go to basic shapes and then go through. So we want this one. And then what we want to do is come to the filter channel and we want to come to MISC. And then down here, there's these Formant options, Formant 1, Formant 2, Formant 3. And we're going to select Formant 2 and then drag this to 38 Hertz. We'll drag the res to 23% and the drive to 14%. And then what we can do simply is drag the LFO from here onto the cutoff, hold Shift Alt click, and then just leave it there. And then when we press play now, you hear we've got that talking style wobble. And of course you can make it just like a whoop. And make it like sustained. You get more of the frequencies out when you do that. But let's leave it on retrigger mode for now. And let's go to the effects and bring this sound out more. So first let's add a hyper. And we'll just turn the mix down here slightly. Now we'll add a distortion and we'll use diode 2. And leave it like that. Now let's add a compressor and we'll just turn the gain up so it's louder. Now let's add an EQ and we'll just boost the gain here to bring up some of the high range and turn it into the bell-shaped mode. And then we'll turn this up and turn this across here to get the high end. Now you can see the sound is nicely coming out. And then we can also add a phaser as well. And just adjust that to taste. So then if we want to develop this sound further, of course you can do this style. So and you can like try and like find little bits in the sound that you want and extract them. You see there, I've already created like a new interesting sound. And of course we can change the Formant to different options like Formant 1, Formant 3. Quite like that one, that's pretty cool. And then we can also change stuff on the shape as well, so we could try a different shape. Like that, for example. And then of course you could change the cutoff as well. Change this around. That sounds pretty cool. And you get the idea. Just experiment, try and shape a little sound that sounds good and unique to your track. And that is the video complete. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any other methods of making talking basses down below. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see from me in the future. Make sure to grab the future Jump Up D&B sample pack. Join my academy and I'll see you in the next one.